I don't even have a witty cold opening for you on this one. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is one of the worst blockbusters I've ever seen in my entire life. It is terribly edited, it is terribly racist, it is terribly plotted, it is terribly paced. I would rather watch the one where they talk about Juliet laws in Texas than I would watch this movie again. It's day 60 of 365. Today's movie, Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. Directed by Michael Bay and starring Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox, Transformers 2 is my least favorite of the Transformers series. I have a 20-minute rant on YouTube somewhere expressing everything that I really hate about this movie. And so if you want the deep cut, go check that out. Seth Has a Meltdown, I think is the name of the video. Not super important. I'm trying to keep this a positive series, but it's hard to do on a movie like this. This one broke my brain. Some of the scenes are some of the most gorgeously animated computer animation ever committed to film. And then right next to those scenes, it will have scenes where they teleport characters across the world just to keep the story going because the plot has kind of stalled out. I would never want to begrudge even Michael Bay a chance at doing a sequel to something as widely received as the first Transformers movie. But the one-upsmanship on display here is so wrong-headed that I can't imagine anything went right during production. Apparently, the on-screen sexualization of Megan Fox pales in comparison to the off-screen sexualization, so much so that she left the series after this movie. So they don't get better from here. She was the best part of the first two. It's like a cocaine-fueled one-upsmanship contest with itself, and something that they just can't keep the gas going in future movies, so they end up veering into really odd and strange directions. But I'm backing myself into a corner, and I want to keep this a positive review. So let's do the 3 things, if I can find them, that I liked about Transformers 2. The first one is that I love the part where the kaiju transformer at the beginning smacks a car off of a bridge. Now, if I want this video to hit 3 minutes for YouTube, I need to go a little more into depth. Honestly, I wish I could leave it at that. I just love that little bit. It's kind of so fun. But the reason that I love it so much is because the computers they were using to compile this footage at the time apparently had to run overnight because of the amount of things that they were processing through. So for an artist and an animator to add a little bit like that, where the arm swings down and smacks a car off the freeway and animating the car flying off of the freeway and landing down below, probably mixing with a practical shot, a lot of CGI, I just find that to be really, really cool. I think little bits like that really add to movies for me. And so when we get a little section like that right at the beginning of the movie, right after we get Optimus Prime's orbital drop shock trooper entry, which is arguably a very, very cool way to introduce our main Transformer, I just love that this movie will take time to do little bits like that. There's 1,000 of those run across this movie like a Where's Waldo of Transformers. Worth checking out? Maybe. Does it make the movie easier for me to watch? Definitely. The second thing I love about this movie is the fight with Optimus Prime in the woods. This is a technical achievement. This is an achievement of movement and stunts working in tandem. This is an achievement in camera work and style. This is a section that, divorced from the rest of the movie, is probably one of the coolest things committed to screen for this series. And there are a lot of cool bits like this in the movie. I already mentioned the opening where Optimus Prime drops in. This is another Prime example of the stuff that they get really, really right about this series. The reason why Michael Bay was the best pick for this series to begin with is things like this. He knows how to make spectacle. Something that he's done since his early work in commercials up to this point is making the most beautiful version of anything that you've seen. And this fight is at the top, if not the #1 fight across the series. It has stakes, it has emotional resonance, it goes from huge to small and back to huge over and over. The sound design is on point, the lighting is on point, the camera movements are just so huge, and the mixing of lenses and the mixing of colors makes this really pop at a time that was doing very grayscale fights. I think that this really stands out to me as something that I absolutely adore in a movie that I otherwise abhor. The last thing that I love about this movie is the credits. I never have to watch it again. No more podcasts, no more speaking appearances. I do not like this movie. Do not make me talk about it anymore. No, I'm mostly kidding. If I had to search myself for something that I really enjoy, I think the last thing that I would bring up is Shia LaBeouf's performance. This is somebody that takes himself seriously as an actor that at the time was really trying to break away from his childish roles. And so the first Transformers popping off was really huge for him. Then you get to this next movie, and he's got an opportunity. He knows this is center stage now, and he's starting to really bring the thunder to this performance. He wants to play it small at times in a way that allows other actors to really pop. He can play it huge at times in a way that really grabs your attention and lets you know that he's meant for the big screen. And I think that we don't really talk about performances like this in blockbusters very often. Usually actors have to be doing some kind of drama piece, some kind of Oscar bait to get noticed for their roles. And this is the kind of role that, if given to a Keanu Reeves type, is not going to play as well. This is a kid that is excited to be around giant kids' toys. That's the center of the role for Shia here, and he brings that to the forefront. I can give compliments where compliments are due. I think he really, really brought the thunder in this movie and the next one, as far as knowing what kind of thing he was in at this point and knowing that he was going to be on the big, broad stage. He really brought it, and I appreciate that. What do you think? Have I been unfair to Transformers 2? Did it deserve all the hate that I give it, or was I fair in at least giving it some love? Our next movie is Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. I'll see you tomorrow.